Hey, I wanted to put this short video together, and y'all see my trusty pen. Yeah. But I wanted to put this short video together because I get a lot of people to ask me questions about multifamily. They throw deals my way and say, hey, what do you think about this deal? And to be honest, I can only give you, like adding up the numbers real quick, I can only give you a piece of what I feel the deal is going to do. And what I mean by that is you're going to see when I say, like, looking at a deal, it's a lot of things that look at a deal. So nobody can tell you with 100% certainty that just because you gave them this particular deal in this particular place that, hey, this is a great deal. So I'm going to show you some things that you need before making a move on a multifamily. And when I say multifamily, I'm looking at the commercial side of things, which is 5 or more. So I always start power team. Start with the power team. And, you know, power team are people that's going to help you along the way. You're not going to do this by yourself. It's impossible to do this by yourself because you're not a lawyer. You're not a contractor. You don't have a title company. You're not an appraiser. You can't do all the things that all these other people can do. So you get with these folks that are already doing it. If I were you, I would go to my doggone, see, the hard part is a lot of people are not doing multifamily. A lot of people are just doing the residential side of things. I love multifamily because it's more bang for your buck. So the second thing is funding. This guy got in touch with me and he couldn't talk about the funding piece. Somebody has to pay for this thing, y'all. I don't know who that's going to be. It's not going to be me, that's for sure. But somebody has to pay for it. And so if you can't tell me where the funding is coming from, you need to sit there at the funding piece right there and just sit there for a little while until you figure it out. Now, there is private money, which a lot of people don't go after for some reason. I don't know why. But there's private money out there that you can use to do these type of deals to where you don't have to put up money. And I'm supposed to be doing a video on that as well. I got to go live and do that video. It's still coming. I'm a busy guy. If I put up my deals, y'all would be like, wow, you are a busy guy. And then there's a real estate attorney that do deals, and then there's an SEC attorney. So the SEC attorney is, oh my gosh, those are bigger deals. You can use a real estate attorney, and I'm not giving you any type of legal advice. I want you to talk to those folks who can make the decision on who you should be talking to anyway. Now, I'm going to go over things that you're going to need. The income. You're going to need to know what the income is. If you don't know, then you can't really figure out if it's a good deal. You know, it's been over like the last 12 months, the last 3 years. You need the current month's income that's coming in. And I see a lot of, when I get these statements and stuff, it's a lot of bull crap on it. And it happens because some of the owners don't keep good books. You have to know the expenses. So you have to learn to calculate them. And then I put up there, you see the NOI, net operating income, right? So it's very, very, very important. As the NOI goes up, property goes up, you know, the property value. And the NOI goes down, the same thing, the property value goes down. So this is like the driver of commercial for me anyway. And you can force the appreciation, meaning that you can control this number, this NOI. You can make it go up and down depending on how we talk value plays in the commercial world. You got to know the mortgage. What's the mortgage on it? Why is it so important? It's because the income minus the expenses equal the NOI. The income minus the expenses equal the NOI. And that basically gives you your cash flow. And then we talk about cash on cash return. So I say if you're using money from like a bank or a lender, you have to make sure that they looked at it's called a debt to service income ratio. And I didn't even put it up there. No, not debt to service income ratio. It's a debt coverage service ratio, something to that effect. DSCR, something like that. But all the bank is going to do is say, can this asset, can it pay for itself in a sense? And you have money left over. That's basically, bottom line. And cash flow is cash flow. And cash on cash return. I put that in there. If there's no cash on cash return, like, at a high level, and you have to look at your area, because this is area dependent. And this is a term, it determines how fast your money is moving. So a high cash on cash return means your money is moving fast. Low means it's moving slow. So you have to know, and a lot of people like double digit cash on cash returns. I mean, you can move that around depending on the number. So if it was like 700,000, now what if you got it for 500,000? That kind of moves things along as far as your cash on cash return. Then you have your cap rate. As your cap rate is defined as your rate of return on your investment. Like if you were to pay all cash on your property, that's what it boils down to. Then you have payroll. Some of the smaller properties, you won't have a payroll. Then you have taxes. You know, you got to know the taxes. All these numbers add up to figuring out, do you have a deal? And so when somebody says, oh, wow, yeah, if you haven't given all this stuff right here, somebody can't just come in and say you have a deal with 100% certainty. They can say, man, I like this deal. I would look into it further. And so when people ask me that, I tell them I like the deal, I don't like the deal, and the reasons why. But I would still get all the numbers. And then people say, well, what's all the numbers? And I start, NOI, T12, rent roll, and I'm going to go over that too. So you have capital expenses, and that's like some of your big ticket items that you need to make sure that, like the HVAC or the roof, you need to make sure that you have accounted for these items, because once you take it over, it's yours. You know, you don't have a chance to go back and figure it out and say, ooh, I didn't know that the roof need replaced, So what I usually do is get the T12, the rent roll, and the, oh my goodness, I'm going to forget. I get the T12, and that's, we call that the trailing 12. That's just 12 months of who paid what. How much money's coming in that 12 months. And then the rent roll is who's paying what as far as the rent. And then you have your, dang it, I always forget this one. It is your profit and loss statement. Oh my gosh. Okay, your profit and loss statement is going to have I talked about expenses on there. It should have a lot of the things that I'm talking about on here. If it don't, then, oh my goodness, you don't have a good profit and loss statement. But anyway, this is like, you need all this stuff, family. So it's commercial is a little bit different than residential. It just makes more money. You have a lot more, terms you have to understand. If you don't understand these basic terms, I'm going to tell you right now, I know who knows commercial, and it's only because I can speak the language, and it took some time to understand the language. So you're going to just educate yourself on the language of commercial, what you don't want to do. Like I saw somebody, they lost out on $20 million because the guy was a commercial guy and he wanted some property, and they couldn't even talk to them about this stuff. And it's like, well, you don't even know what you're talking about. And I meet a lot of people who kind of just one toe in, one toe out. Go all in, family. Start understanding and learning this stuff. I got some stuff that I can send you if you want it. I'm at Links Realty LLC at Gmail. It's just information to me. And I show deals as I go through them. That's the only way to learn, is to do it. So there you go. I'm Charles McCutcheon. I'm your favorite entrepreneur. And I'm hungry. Y'all take it easy.